here you go. This is Emily C., my new bestie.
I hate the idea that someone out there hates me. I even hate thinking that Al-Qaeda hates me. I think if they got to know me, they wouldn't hate me.
This stole the show. Emily C. was phenomenal.
There's something you need to know.
What?
You're doing great.
Look at my baby. Here she is. Emily. 10 out of 10. Huge fan.
I see Emily C says 123. I trust her. She's really good.
Listen, Turtle. You gotta watch your language. I'm already live. So you need to follow the FCC guidelines.
She destroyed, left nothing in her path. It was so good.
Good morning, everybody. Hi. I'm Emily C., and we are here today to talk about Kelsey Fitzsimmons. But first things first, happy birthday, Lady Tammy. Thank you for spending your birthday with me. I hope you're having a great day. It's really sunny here if you're local. It's a really nice day out. It's like one of those days that feels like spring is about to be here, and like the birds are chirping and things are melting, and it's just a happy day. And Iris Ty became a member. Thank you. And now you can use the new Rutro emoji that I just made. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I very impulsively just rearranged my entire office. So welcome to a new vantage point of my life. I'll probably move it about 7 more times, but for today, this is where we live. Yay. The emojis are so funny. They just show up to me as Rutro, but I'm so excited about that. Rutro. Let's see. Today we're going to talk about Kelsey Fitzsimmons, and this is kind of a follow-up to what we did the other day. So actually, I can pull it up. The other day, I made a timeline of kind of all the events that have happened from the start of Kelsey's relationship with Justin until today. And I was really excited that so many of you kind of like think about things linearly, what's that word? Linearly, the same way that I do. Like it really helps me anytime I learn something new to kind of like place it where it belongs within the timeline of a story to really understand what was happening. And today we're going to zoom in on that like critical week that happened from Kelsey and Justin's joint bachelorette party up until he didn't break into her house. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. And I wrote some things down. Before we get started, I need to take a deep breath. I was just moving furniture. I'm all over the place. Yes, you guys are my people. Dr. Jennifer Toxic said we are timeline people. That means you are my people. I love it. This is not like a fundraiser, but if you feel compelled to support Kelsey while we're learning about everything that she's been put through, I pinned her Give, Send, Go in the comments. And in the description of this video, there is information about a partnership that I'm doing with Bay Harbor Beauty, where any of the products that you buy on bayharborbeauty.com, if you enter the code Emily at checkout, 10% of your purchase will automatically go to Kelsey's Give, Send, Go. And I thank you to Broken Baker, who was also talking about that yesterday. That I really appreciate you spreading the word on that, because not only are we supporting Kelsey, but we're supporting a great small business like within our community. And I really am grateful that I have the opportunity to be able to do that. If anybody else has small businesses that you want me to help you promote on here, I would love to get the word out, because I think this community has the potential to do a lot of good. And I think we get antsy sometimes when we're not focused on a mission, and the more that we can work together to support each other and to support justice, I think we're like using this community correctly. Yeah, and we're gonna, like, Kelsey's gonna have the most beautiful army of supporters that's ever lived, because really these products are fantastic. And I'm hoping today at the end of this, I said this last time and I ran out of time, but today I have a little more time and a little less to go over. So I'm hoping at the end I can tell you a little bit more, because people have messaged me about like which products I've been using with Bay Harbor Beauty, and I'm hoping that I have some time that I can actually talk to you about it, so I'm not just throwing it out there all the time. We'll do that at the end. The other thing I wanted to just touch on before we dive into everything today is a response to some of the things I've been seeing online about Kelsey's kind of role in everything. And what I've been thinking a lot about is that, especially in a domestic situation, I don't think that there's ever like a perfect victim. And I think that domestic situations are really complicated because an outsider, police, DCF, the systems in place are coming into a situation where two people once had a lot of love for each other, and that love has transformed into something else, you know, hatred, violence, jealousy, whatever it is in any situation. And I think it's a lot more complicated than the systems that we have in place right now kind of give it credit to. Like when a police officer responds to a bank robbery and they walk in, they can pretty easily see like, oh, that guy with like the mask, and I have to turn my phone on silent. That guy like wearing the mask and like holding up the bank is the bad guy. Like, we found him. We know who the bad guys are. Everybody else here is an innocent victim. And from what I've seen, it feels that a lot of times the approach to a domestic situation is kind of the same way. It's like, let's find out who the bad guy is. Like, I'm thinking about what that body cam footage from Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie when they're pulled over on the side of the road and they're talking to both of them. And then they're kind of like, okay, it sounds like Gabby was the aggressor. And they determine that within like 15 minutes of talking to the two of them. And it's like, okay, well, maybe in this moment in time, that one action, she was being aggressive, but like, what is the situation? What are we walking into? And it just doesn't feel like the systems that we have in place right now give enough weight to that consideration. Despite the look on my face said reactive abuse is very common and misunderstood. And I think all of that to say, there are a lot of people online, and it's actually very interesting the way that a lot of the anti-Karen Reed people have just moseyed right on over to Justin's side of this situation. I don't know if that means, I was thinking like, maybe it's not just that they're being contrarians, but maybe these are people that have a propensity to automatically assume that if somebody is charged, they're guilty. If somebody is arrested, they're the one that did it, or they're just trolling. But a lot of them are saying things like, you know, like, why should the baby be in the house with Kelsey, who's doing X, Y, and Z? And for me, as I'm going through all of this, that's not up for me to determine. I'm not, same thing with the Karen Reed trial, where I kind of stay away from theories about what happened, even though like Vince and Sam have kind of pulled me back into that. My larger focus has been on like what systems failed that we've gone through 2 entire trials and we're still the ones trying to figure out what happened. Like, why are we the ones that are coming up with theories? My focus has been on like what systems failed in that case. And that's kind of where my mind goes through all of this too, is like, where does it feel like the system should have approached this situation more carefully, more thoughtfully, in a more inquisitive way, where they're trying to really figure out what is going on instead of automatically believing what's written on a 209A, taking a baby. That, outside of all of this, that feels like a dangerous system to me, that somebody can be the aggressor in a relationship and just go fill out a form and a couple hours later get handed a baby that they don't deserve to have. So that's kind of my like larger lens of how I've been looking at all of this. I think that's everything I wanted to say before we get started. Yeah, and Kelly, Weston Justin's fridge acid, which is, yeah, every time you change your name, it's just spot on, said, number one, shouldn't be allowed to rip someone's baby away on an ex parte order. And like, this is where I sympathize with the people that design these systems, because there is a situation, like a Lindsay Clancy situation, where if she had voiced to somebody what she was experiencing and feeling, and they really had a true concern for her babies, it does feel like there should be a situation where those kids should be protected immediately. It just feels like there should be an additional step in between the ex parte order and police officers taking the baby away, where there's some type of trained social worker, somebody who's asking the right questions to find out if there really is a threat, to find out if the ex parte order really is credible. And I know so the 209A is designed that within 10 days, they are seen in a two-party hearing in court. So if Noonan had not shot Kelsey, that's what was intended to happen. But it seems like if the person who's filing the ex parte order is dangerous, then that would be too long to wait, in my opinion. Also, maybe you guys know this more than, maybe there is something like this, but it feels like DCF should do some type of follow-up where the person who filed the order is seen that night to know where the baby is now. Especially in this situation, Justin had been living in the house with Kelsey and the baby, and now he files his order. He's taking the baby. Did anybody go to the house in Stowe and make sure that there was a proper living situation for that baby? It just feels like in any other situation, that type of precaution is taken. And I haven't heard anything about how, if that's followed up for at all in this case. Yeah, like, hi, Yellow Ledbetter. Yeah, did anybody see if he's fit? It feels like this little loophole of the system is not designed in a way that has a child's best interest. Not even thinking about Kelsey in that, but just thinking about putting a baby into a safe situation. So that's where my head has been at. All that to say, let's jump into this. Yeah, and I think Lindsay Clancy is a tricky example. Jet 0362 said, in the Clancy case, no one was listening. She didn't, in my opinion, think anyone would that it is a tricky situation, and also because like we know how it turned out, but that was just the example on the top of my head. Okay. So I brought this up last time, and I think it's important to just frame again that Kelsey has two trials going on kind of simultaneously, or two court cases going on simultaneously, and they touch each other and they impact each other, but they don't particularly overlap. So in the criminal trial, she is being accused of assault with a deadly weapon against Officer Noonan, who's that man right there. And she had originally been charged with attempted murder with a firearm, a couple other counts that were not returned by the grand jury. So now it was down to just assault with a deadly weapon. Her defense attorneys in that trial are Timothy Bradel and Martha Coakley, and Courtney Healy is Tim Bradel's paralegal. And then in the family court, that is Justin Alayan, looking all creepy and shit. And thank you to those of you who reminded me last time. Her attorney in the family court case is Julie Hess, and that's Julie with the good hair. See, isn't her hair so good? So that's what she has on her plate. And her next appearance in family court is April 14th, and her criminal trial starts Monday. I'm going to be there Monday if anybody else is going. I would love to see you there. And if you didn't see yet, Kelsey has opted for a bench trial in front of Jeffrey Karp. And I think that was the right decision. Also, I was happy about that decision because I was planning to go Monday, and I'm glad that it will be a bench trial and it will be getting started right away. And I won't just be seeing jury selection, even though that would be interesting too. The judge seems fair, seems like what you want in a judge, seems like somebody who listens, asks questions, is willing to weigh what they hear in a light most favorable to the defendant, not like Judge McCarthy Naiman, who she started with. So that's good. He kind of reminds me of Yannetti. Did anybody else get that feeling? There was just something very Yannetti about him, like just personable and kind of like a nice dad vibes. So I think that will be good. Okay, so today we're going to jump into what happened. Yes, thank God for this judge. And yes, this judge ain't Bev. Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one who gets Yannetti vibes. And I would trust Yannetti if I was on trial, so that makes me feel good. The term intellectual curiosity is like a quality that I just like in people, like people who are interested in not just hearing the facts of a case as they're presented on the news, where it's like 2 sentences, there was an officer that was shot, blah, 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 but really who want to dive into the details and figure everything out. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start with the bachelorette weekend. Justin and Kelsey had a joint bachelorette party. What are your guys' thoughts on that? The fact that they had a joint party, because I can kind of envision 2 types of couples that would do that. So like I had a bachelorette party. My husband had a bachelor party. It was separate. Like I went away with my girlfriends. He went away with his guy friends, separate weekend, like not even the same weekend or anything. But I kind of envision like 2 opposite ends of a couple that would do something like that. Either in my mind, it's a couple that's like best friends. Like I'm imagining like a couple that were best friends before they even started dating. They've been friends for years. Their friends are all friends. So they just couldn't even imagine like kind of separating everybody, because they're just like, the whole group is best friends. Maybe like some of their friends are dating or married too. And it's like everybody is just this like one big happy family. Or I envision a couple that's doesn't trust each other and is already kind of toxic and is worried that if one goes off on their own, something bad's going to happen. And maybe this was neither case, but it's like just such a kind of interesting thing to do that I've just been wondering about that. So it says here, this is from the SJC filing, I believe. It says on June 28th, 2025, Mr. Elaine and okay, I'm going to stop interrupting myself and I'm going to chill out and slow down in a second. But isn't it weird in this document that they continue calling Kelsey Officer Fitzsimmons? Like, she wasn't on duty at any point during any of the actions that this filing is about. Something about it just feels weird that they continue. Like, I don't know if that's intended to be respectful, like a respectful title, or it's something about it just feels weird. Yeah, I would like to know whose idea it was too. I have a lot of questions for them. On June 28th, 2025, Mr. Elaine and Officer Fitzsimmons were having a joint bachelorette party in Bethel, Maine to celebrate their engagement, which is also, that just might be a typo or something, like a misunderstanding on you don't celebrate your engagement with a bachelorette party. But Mr. Elaine told CIC, who knows what CIC is, because I don't, but that's whoever's doing this interview, that Officer Fitzsimmons was unhappy with him for several reasons on June 28th, such as him spending time with the groomsmen, his sisters being invited to the gathering, and his sisters arriving 2 hours late to the gathering. Okay. I mean, like, maybe she's overreacting a little bit, but like, okay. So Mr. Elaine recalled people were playing lawn games and enjoying themselves. He stated Officer Fitzsimmons became increasingly intoxicated and displayed erratic behavior. Mr. Elaine continuously asked Officer Fitzsimmons to stop drinking. Chief in charge? Thank you. Mr. Elaine stated Officer Fitzsimmons' behavior became increasingly erratic, and this is a quote from him. And again, I noticed Kelsey is becoming extremely erratic. She starts running around, repeating these same words over and over. She's yelling, fuckity, fuck, fuck, fuckity, fuck, and laughing and just maniacally saying these terms. And she ends up saying crusty crab, over and over again, repeating. We read this last time, so if you watch that, you've already heard my take on this, but so... okay. She's not threatening anybody. She's not, I mean, that's she's running around yelling fuckity fucking crusty crab. Okay. This is not the clutch your pearls moment that you're acting like it is, Justin. I'm not going to read through all of this because we did it last time. I'm just going to kind of summarize it, but I'll read the parts that we didn't read last time. So the Bennett, the guy who's doing the interview, asked, and she was expressing them towards an individual or just, and Justin says, no, she was just running around, walking around, saying these statements. And among others that I can't recall the exact verbatim she was using, but she was just overall acting erratic, not making much sense. She was definitely highly inebriated at this point. And at one point she came outside and I was outside with a few of the people on the porch. I had removed myself from being inside and like, I'm just going to remove myself for a little bit. She came outside and she wanted everyone to come inside and play drinking games. And I think she even wanted me to like come inside and strip for her. I disregard this. I'm like, I don't want to play drinking games. I'm not in the mood. I don't want to do that. Like, we're just hanging out. Like, let's just take it easy. Oh, excuse me. The girl's on her bachelorette party. She just had a baby 4 months ago. It's her first weekend away with her friends. Oh, sorry. She asked people to come inside and have fun. Like, my take on all of this, and like, again, this could be wrong, but I think it's really hard. I imagine that Kelsey was in a situation where she felt like things were different. She felt like Justin had changed. He wasn't the same kind of like love bomby loving, supportive boyfriend that she had fallen in love with. And she's trying to figure out what is going on. She's frustrated that he's acting differently. He's not communicating to her why. And she's stuck in this situation where she's like, we're getting married, like you're my fiance, we're in this together, and you're acting like you don't even like me at all. And I get the vibe, like, when you walk into a room and you know that people were talking about you, like I have envisioned that Kelsey walked outside and these people that are supposed to be her friends, she feels are whispering to Justin about her, and she's feeling insecure. And on top of that, she just had a baby. Her hormones are all over the place. Like, it's a lot. She needed somebody there. If it wasn't him, she needed a friend. It doesn't seem like she had the nicest friends around her either. She needed somebody to just kind of like rebuild her confidence and to make sure that everything was okay, and to tell her like she's worth it. And he was not doing that. Yeah, and her first weekend away from her baby, which is not easy. Even when you think when you're like, I cannot wait to go away, and then you do. Like, it's the same thing, even putting a baby to bed. You're like, oh my God, I need you to fall asleep immediately. And then 5 minutes after they fall asleep, you're like, I kind of miss you. Like that's a lot. Yes, I get the same like high school kind of childish vibes. So it says, Mr. Elaine stated everyone else at the party was casually drinking. Well, it's not their bachelorette party, it's hers. He continued to it's not like she was like secretly drinking in her room by herself and nobody else was drinking. It was a drinking event. He kept attempting to calm her down. How about get on her level? How about you amp it up? Around 9 or 10 p.m., one of Officer Fitzsimmons's bridesmaids, Katrina, we hear about her later. Here it's spelled Katrina, but in their text it's Katrina. Katrina Caruso found Mr. Elaine. Found Mr. Elaine. Okay. She told Mr. Elaine, I cannot deal with Kelsey. She's out of control. I cannot handle it. Some bridesmaid you are. Around 11 p.m., the party started to wind down. Sounds like Mr. Elaine never wound up his party, so I don't know how it can wind down. Mr. Elaine went upstairs to brush his teeth. What was Sergio Denaro's thing where anybody who talks about brushing their teeth is having an affair? He went upstairs to brush his teeth and then entered his room. Officer Fitzsimmons followed Mr. Elaine to the room and was upset with him. Okay. Seems like she waited until they were in private in the room that they were sharing. Mr. Elaine told CIC his recollection of what took place in the room. He stated Officer Fitzsimmons acted aggressively towards him. He felt uncomfortable and he went downstairs. Officer Fitzsimmons demanded he return upstairs to the bedroom. Mr. Elaine stated he was concerned about what might happen behind closed doors due to Officer Fitzsimmons' history of physical abuse towards him. Okay, and then this part we read last time, but basically his brother and his friend come up and he's like, you guys, like, I'm scared of what will happen behind these closed doors. And they're like, we'll protect you from your 110-pound fiance. Okay. Then Mr. Elaine stated that once he and Officer Fitzsimmons returned to the bedroom, she again began yelling and expressing anger towards him. Well, right, because you guys haven't talked about it yet. And you haven't addressed, how was she supposed to get unangry? You didn't resolve anything yet. Mr. Elaine recalled continuously attempting to de-escalate and calm Officer Fitzsimmons down. Just for anybody out there that might find themselves in this situation, If you just try to tell somebody who's upset to calm down, it's never going to work. But if you listen to them, you're much more likely to get the result that you want by meeting them where they are and understanding what they're going through. That seems a little out of Mr. Lane's capacity for empathy. Mr. Lane stated he attempted to leave the room. Why is he always leaving? And Officer Fitzsimmons stepped in front of him. Yeah, because you keep leaving. Mr. Lane's brother knocked on the door and requested Mr. Lane come downstairs to discuss the events of the next day. Mr. Lane stated he again attempted to leave, but Officer Fitzsimmons stepped in his way to block him from leaving. Mr. Lane told CIC that he continued to attempt to leave the room. He indicated Officer Fitzsimmons made an implied threat of a false accusation of domestic violence. That's when he said that she said she was going to say, "You close my fingers in the door." Then, this part we did not get into last time, Mr. Lane told CIC that Officer Fitzsimmons punched him in the face 3 times. I see her with her right fist. She clenches it into a fist, into a closed fist. And at that point, I look at her. I'm almost like, are you really about to do what I think you're about to do? And I'm in fear of Kelsey getting violent, which she has done in the past. And with a closed fist, she strikes me 3 times in the face. I'm honest. Oh, we did read this last time. I did fear that she would not stop. And I was able to move around her. I did not touch a finger on her. I was able to quickly move around her. I was able to quickly open the door. And at that point, with the door open, my brother at the door, Kelsey grabs me by the arm and rips me back into the room as hard as she can. And I'm just completely stunned at this point. Like, Justin's talking like he's walking around like this like, what are those weebles that you just like, you grab them and they fall down and they get back up and they fall back down. Like, he's just a passive, he's just getting flung all around in this situation. He has no bones in his whole body. So he, it says, Mr. Lane left the house. His friend Dave drove him to a motel. They stayed overnight there. And Mr. Alayan told CIC that Officer Fitzsimmons' punches left his nose in pain and slightly swollen. Additionally, he stated the corner of his eye was in pain. Oh, the corner. Mr. Alayan stated that Officer Fitzsimmons' punches did not leave him with any severe bruising. Okay. Mr. Alayan stated his brother witnessed Kelsey grabbing him. Mr. Alayan stated that once others entered the vicinity, Officer Fitzsimmons changed her demeanor completely. She became very calm, denied punching Mr. Alayan, and made statements that they were just talking. Maybe they were just talking. Maybe you imagined this. You are on drugs. Schmugs, whatever you're supposed to call it on YouTube. Mr. Lane was told that Miss Caruso went to retrieve his belongings from the master bedroom. And he was told Miss Caruso witnessed Officer Fitzsimmons going through his belongings. Mr. Alayan told CIC that Officer Fitzsimmons stole his driver's license and debit card. I know we hear that in the text messages too. Okay. Stole? You guys live together. She brought it to your house. I mean, okay. Mr. Alayan ordered a new debit card and driver's license. What? He ordered a new debit card and go just get it back. You know where she is. Mr. Alayan was told by other guests that after he left, Officer Fitzsimmons physically assaulted several of their friends. Mr. Alayan was told that Officer Fitzsimmons threw a Stanley tumbler from a balcony at one of her bridesmaids. The Stanley tumbler did not make contact with the bridesmaid. Mr. Alayan was told that Officer Fitzsimmons eventually ran off into the woods and made statements over the phone about taking her own life. Yeah, she's having a really hard time. Yeah, Robin J nailed it. Who hasn't had an unfortunate night like that? Like, she's not in a state where she is able to have fun, and she wants to have fun, and again, who has fridge acid? But so I don't know that that's physically assaulting her friends if she threw a tumbler and it didn't hit her friend. I don't know where the assault is. Then Mr. Elaine stated in the early morning hours of June 29th, 2025, Officer Fitzsimmons' parents took custody of the baby. Now, I don't know if that's called custody, if like her parents are just watching the baby. Like when my son goes to my parents' house, I'm not like, and now my parents have custody of him. But okay. Mr. Elaine told CIC that he spoke to Officer Fitzsimmons' father. He recalled expressing his fear for the baby's life. I would like to hear his side of this story. I don't know what time of day this is. It doesn't, I mean, at one point it says it was night when they left. I think they went inside around 11, did it say? The party wound down around 11. And then some of this is the next day. Then Elaine, quote, I tried to explain to him that Kelsey was in a very unstable mindset and displaying actions where she should not have the baby, and I feared for both of their safety. I absolutely feared for my son's safety, and I did fear for Kelsey's safety as well, based on the actions that I have seen in the past. Okay. Mr. Elaine told CIC that Officer Fitzsimmons was calling and messaging him statements about taking her own life and the baby. On June 29th, Mr. Elaine stated he believed Officer Fitzsimmons was attempting to lure him to be alone with her. He believed that her plan was to take him out and the baby and then take her own life if he did not agree to stay in the relationship. If she did make those statements, they're not in the ones that the Commonwealth wanted to put into evidence as her state of mind that she wanted to do that to anybody. So that would be weird if those text messages do exist and the Commonwealth passed over those for the ones that they opted for. Or that didn't happen. Now they interview Cassandra Mazzoni. She was a childhood friend of Kelsey. They've known each other from the age of 5 years old. They were good friends until about 18 years old and have remained family friends since. I think that is important, for what we are going to hear from her. So they were childhood friends. They were very good friends until they were 18. And now, for the last 8 years, they've been family friends. Miss Mazzoni was supposed to be in Kelsey's bridal party. She attended the bachelorette party in Bethel, Maine, in blah, blah, blah. On Saturday, most people were drinking all day. Miss Mazzoni was not really drinking because she did not know many people there. They're always the good guys, the ones that they're interviewing. Yeah, I think a lot, this like really is, I think, can be triggering for people who have been in a situation like this, where if you don't know somebody who's been through this or haven't been through it yourself, you're just looking solely at like how Kelsey reacted, like what exactly Kelsey's actions were, without considering the fact that they might have been reactions. And I think a lot of times when people like Justin are playing the victim, they like needle their partner and do it repeatedly and in a way where they know that eventually they're going to get a rise out of them. And then when they do, then that's when they kind of go crawling back like, I'm just asking, I'm just talking, I'm just doing this. I don't know what you're making such a big deal about. And that is really difficult. I feel for Kelsey. Okay, Miss Mazzoni explained, hold on, I need to make this bigger. Miss Mazzoni explained that Mr. Alayan was quiet and withdrawn on this day. Around 11 p.m., Miss Mazzoni decided to go to bed. Everyone else was still up drinking. When she shut off the light, she heard a loud bang and screaming coming from the living room. She said the screaming was coming from Mr. Alayan's blonde sister, who she believed was called Ashley. Mr. Alayan's sister was screaming, "Don't touch my brother!" Okay. Okay, you enmeshed little family, you. Don't touch my brother. Don't touch her fiance. Okay. Mr. Alayan grabbed all of his things and a backpack and left the house. He looked scared. Officer Fitzsimmons was very calm and said, "I didn't touch him. I didn't do anything. I just want to get home to my baby." Yeah, sounds about right. Ms. Mazzoni stated that no one knew what happened with Officer Fitzsimmons and Mr. Alayan behind closed doors. Ms. Mazzoni stated that for a while they were going back and forth and tried to calm Mr. Alayan's sister down. They had to calm Ashley down. One of Officer Fitzsimmons's friends, Deandra, who's also in the text, offered to drive her home to get the baby. They realized things were escalating and they should not be staying at the Airbnb. Deandra was telling Officer Fitzsimmons to hurry up and rushing her, which Kelsey exactly says in the text. At this point, Officer Fitzsimmons snapped. Officer Fitzsimmons went from very calm to screaming. She stood at the top of the stairs and threw a Stanley Cup full of water at Deandra's head. The Stanley Cup did not hit Deandra, but was aimed at her. Officer Fitzsimmons also threw a box of champagne glasses down the stairs in the general direction of Miss Mazzoni and others standing at the bottom of the stairs. The box did not make contact with anyone. Now, again, and I don't want to feel like I'm like making like excuses for Kelsey in any of this. Like I said at the beginning, like there is no perfect victim. There's probably things that Kelsey looks back on this now and wishes that she had handled differently. However, you can understand she's on a weekend away with all of the people that are supposed to like love and care for her the most in the world. She's going through a hard time, and now her friend is rushing her to leave. Like this is the week she had planned to be away for the weekend. It sounds like they're cutting it short. She's upset about Justin. And everybody's just kind of like telling her to stop feeling how she's feeling. Is it the first day of spring? That's why it's so nice out. Yes. Love it. Officer Fitzsimmons she did that. She had to be restrained by Miss Mitchell. She kicked Miss Mitchell. Well, she's being restrained. Okay. She kicked Miss Mitchell as she was being restrained. Has Miss Mitchell gone through restraint training? Was she doing a proper restraint? I have questions. Later, when Miss Mitchell was not restraining her, Officer Fitzsimmons ran over unprompted and kicked Miss Mitchell in the knee again. Okay, she's acting childish. Miss Mazzoni confirmed that the videotape of Officer Fitzsimmons yelling on the stairs is consistent with what she observed that night. So there is a video of this that I'm sure Justin will hold over her head for the rest of her life. Officer Fitzsimmons then ran out of the house and into the woods, and no one knew where she was. They tried calling Officer Fitzsimmons' parents to tell them Officer Fitzsimmons was out of control and they needed to come pick her up. Officer Fitzsimmons' parents told them that Officer Fitzsimmons was fine and they could come meet her at the house. I trust her parents. Great question. Normal Miami mom says, why wasn't the police called this night? If you're all really that concerned and that worried and there's a bunch of officers that are here, why were the police not? Yeah. Also, who kicks people in the knee? Like, she's not clearly, if Kelsey was trying to really hurt these people, if that's what was like, kicking somebody in the knee is like not what you do when you're really fighting. So her parents say she's fine. Okay, so here's a timestamp. Around 1 a.m. or 2 a.m., Miss Mazzoni was scared because people were screaming and throwing things, and Officer Fitzsimmons was unpredictable. Miss Mazzoni left with Deandra and started driving back to Boston. When they left, no one knew where Officer Fitzsimmons was, but other people were handling the search for her. So her two friends at 1 a.m. just got in the car and left, and Kelsey's missing. Kels, let's get you some good friends. We'll rebuild everything one step at a time, and let's start with a nice group of friends for you. You don't need a lot of them. Quality over quantity. But let's get you some people that'll have your back, because they're out there. We have your back, and these people, you deserved better. On the drive back, Miss Mazzoni learned that Officer Fitzsimmons had been found and was driving home with her stepbrother and sister in a black Cadillac. Some weird stuff's about to happen with the black Cadillac. Now, I'm assuming she's not driving, right? If she's in a car with her stepbrother and sister and she's been drinking all day and everybody's worried, I don't think that she's driving. And we're, again, getting to a situation where, why weren't the police called if this really did happen? Also, these Cassandra and Deandra left like a while before Kelsey was still missing when they left. So now they've found Kelsey, packed everything up, got in the car, got on the road, but apparently Cassandra's a really slow driver, because while on the highway, a car which looked like a black Cadillac sideswiped Miss Mazzoni's car and almost ran her off the side of the highway. The car sped off before they could see a license plate or any identifying details. So it probably wasn't them. And yeah. They checked Officer Fitzsimmons' sister's location after the accident, and she was a few minutes ahead of them on the highway. Okay, Sherlock Holmes. Miss Mazzoni stated she did not want to make assumptions about who was driving the car that sideswiped them. No police were called at any time except, nope. Miss Mazzoni did not have any contact with Officer Fitzsimmons or her siblings from that point forward. Miss Mazzoni stated that Officer Fitzsimmons struggled with mental health issues, aggression, and alcohol abuse previously. These issues were especially apparent in high school. Miss Mazzoni stated that Officer Fitzsimmons punched one of Miss Mazzoni's friends in an unwarranted attack in high school. Okay. After high school, a decade earlier, Miss Mazzoni and Officer Fitzsimmons did not stay close, so Miss Mazzoni was not aware if these issues worsened or got better. Miss Mazzoni stated that a lot of people were shocked by Officer Fitzsimmons' behavior on the night of June 28th, but she knew Officer Fitzsimmons' history. She felt this was Officer Fitzsimmons reverting back to her old ways. Yeah, and like, did she even get sideswiped, or that? All of this just feels like odd. Like, and we'll get to it, but in the text messages, Kelsey talks about like things were stolen from her bag. Like, what are we doing here, people? Let's grow up a little. So that's that. Yeah, and like, was there damage to the car? Like, we don't know. There's no pictures. There's no, yeah. Yeah, Pixar didn't happen. Exactly. Okay. So then this is the 29th. So now that was the 27th into the 28th. And now this is the 29th. Again, we are taking Justin's word for things that we have no other proof of it happening. And we actually are now getting proof that doesn't seem like what happened, but here we go. Mr. Alayan told CIC that Officer Fitzsimmons was calling and messaging him statements about taking her own life and the baby. On June 29th, Mr. Alayan stated he believed Officer Fitzsimmons was attempting to lure him to be alone with her. He believed her plan was to take her life, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Mr. Alayan, okay, wait. She, at that point, she was constantly trying to manipulate me into coming over, having me come to the house alone. I stated several times that I needed space to process the events, and I would not be doing that. So these are the texts that we have seen. I truly, truly believe, and I will show you all these messages. I have no doubt in my mind she was trying to lure me to that house. And if she found, oh no, this isn't, because wait, he's saying this happened on the 29th, but those texts are the 30th. Maybe he just got the date wrong. I have more questions. Okay. And if she found out I was not coming back, she was going to take my life, take my son's life, and take her own life. I am beyond 100% certain that was her plan. Then there's a little footnote. Hold on. Footnote 3, Mr. Elaine did not turn the text messages over to CIC. Oh, interesting. He's beyond 100% certain, but he did not turn over the text messages. Mr. Elaine stated that Officer Fitzsimmons was increasingly unstable on June 29th. She accused Mr. Elaine of still being in Maine so that he could cheat on her with her best friend. Sounds plausible. Mr. Elaine FaceTimed Officer Fitzsimmons from his home in Stowe, which she is familiar with, and she continued to state that he was in Maine having an affair. Maybe it just ended. Maybe he just got home. On June 29th, Mr. Elaine went to the North Andover house with his father. He told Officer Fitzsimmons that he was just coming by to retrieve some belongings because he feared what she would do if he told her he was getting his firearms. So he went to the house and got his firearms, which now that makes sense in the 911 call when he said that he already got them. So the very first thing that he did was go get his firearms. Okay. Mr. Elaine got a restraining order against Officer Fitzsimmons on June 30th. Mr. Elaine explained numerous events and communications he had with Officer Fitzsimmons on June 29th and June 30th that made him believe his baby's life was in danger. Officer Fitzsimmons told CIC that he contacted the North Andover police on June 30th and warned Lieutenant Daly that Officer Fitzsimmons was not going to take the restraining order well. He told CIC that he warned Lieutenant Daly several times that he believed Officer Fitzsimmons would attempt to take the baby's life, any officers involved, and then take her own life. Then a quote, "She is not going to take this order lightly. She will not want to pass over that baby." I wonder why. She will not want to pass over that baby. Your son, Mr. Elaine, her son. Okay. She will look you in the eyes. She will kill you. She will kill herself and she will kill that baby. It must have been 10 separate times where we were going back and forth based on her previous behavior and based on the behavior that she was showcasing the past 2 days. She will look at you dead in the eyes, kill that baby, kill you without hesitation. She will kill herself. There is no question in my mind. She has the power and ability to off you. I literally cannot stress enough how many times we told them in many different ways she's prone to act irrationally and she's more than capable of violence. Now, okay, pause for a second. If we're talking about people's state of mind at the time of the shooting that happened with Officer Noonan, if this is true, if he did put this into those officers' minds and it was not true, there is nothing that we've seen, and it doesn't seem like there's evidence that he can provide that backs up the fact that she said this over and over again, "I'm going to take out anybody around me who tries to do anything." Then what Justin did was plant a seed in the responding officers' minds that Kelsey was going to be violent towards them. And Kelsey did not know that he did that. in her mind at that time, in her statements, which we'll get to, she wanted to take herself out. She was devastated. She was not violent towards anybody in her mind. It was towards herself. But to go to state of mind, this explains Noonan's state of mind to me. This explains why he acted so what's the word? Quickly. That's not the word I was trying to think of, but there's one. But yes, Justin planted this seed that ended up creating this entire problem. Then it says, on June 30th, 2025, Mr. Alayan arrived at his house in North Andover. Officers had made contact with Officer Fitzsimmons. He took custody of his baby after some resistance from Miss Page. I think Miss Page is Kelsey's mom. He was standing on the first floor. Mr. Alayan went down to the basement to get a suitcase in order to pack some essentials for the time he would be spending at his parents' house. Mr. Alayan told CIC there was not a firearm safe in the basement of his North Andover home. Well, maybe the officer should have checked that. Like maybe there's protocol that they should have been following. While walking toward the basement stairs, Mr. Alayan heard a voice yell out, "No, stop, don't do it." Mr. Alayan told CIC he then heard 3 gunshots, so he took off running from the house for safety. I began to walk back towards the stairs and to go back up the first floor. I vividly hear an officer yell out, "No, stop, don't do it." And I can vividly hear the "no, stop, don't do it." And then I hear what I believe to be 3 gunshots ring out. And I hear Kelsey's mom frantically screaming. Oh, that breaks my heart. I immediately recognize what has happened. I recognize that there was a shooting in the house. Someone most likely has been shot. My one priority is my son's safety right now, as he was 20 feet outside that house. You were inside, the baby was outside. Who's watching the baby? So I immediately run from the vicinity of the stairs that lead down to the basement to the garage. Sorry, everybody. And I fumbled with the locking mechanism due to the darkness. And I was able to throw open the garage door. I sprint around. Yeah, exactly. Mr. Alayan told CIC that he fled the house because he believed Officer Fitzsimmons would have shot him and the baby if given the opportunity. Okay. I fully believed at this point Kelsey was trying to kill those officers. She was coming for me and her son. Me and her son. You don't say me and her son if you think that Kelsey is dangerous towards the baby. Me and her son. I believed the entire time that was her plan to lure me back into the house. The text message, I don't even know if she cared for the son at that point. I don't even know if she cared for the son at this point. Put a pin in that for when we read those texts. I know, oh my God, I could like barf at this sentence. Are you ready for the most narcissistic thing you've ever heard? I know she cared for me. Who wouldn't care for you? You're perfect. I know she cared for me, having control and manipulation over me. But I have no doubt in my mind of the violence she was capable of and what she would do, not only to herself, but not caring about anybody else in that room or where she was. So the only thing she cares about in the world is Justin. She doesn't care about the other people in the room. She doesn't care about her baby. She doesn't care about herself. I know she cared for me. But not blah, blah. And she would shoot her way out and come for me and the child. No doubt about that in my mind. So at that point, I ran to my truck. I was in my truck. Yeah, before he said, her son, at least he got something right. And why is he the one still that has the baby? Ugh, sick man. Mr. Elaine told CIC he had not spoken to Officer Fitzsimmons since June 30th. You want to know why? She's in the hospital fighting for her life. Okay, so that was that. I guess I jumped ahead a little, even though I really tried to put this all in order. I got a little too excited. So now we're going to backtrack a little. Sorry about that. I should have spaced these in between. I got carried away. So now that's the end of the story, and then we'll backtrack to what led us there. So this is 822, and other people have read through all of these. I don't think I'm going to read them like word for word, but just pick out some of the parts. And Baker read them with Mo on his stream. If you guys haven't seen that yet, Melanie read them. A couple other people did too. So I don't want to just read through them word for word, but just kind of summarize what's happening here and pick out the parts that like stood out to me. I need a second. That was a lot. How does Melanie just read documents all day? I feel like I just ran a marathon. Okay. So they're texting on the morning of June 30th, and Justin is offering to pick up Caden to watch him, but not at their house, even though Kelsey's not going to be at the house. That's the whole point of watching. So he won't go in the house, even though she's not going to be there. And Kelsey says a very rational thing. You're not a babysitter. You're his dad. I think even in healthy relationships, sometimes that comes out of the primary parent's mouth, because it's a lot watching kids. And sometimes it can feel like the person who's not like the primary parent is acting more like a babysitter. And sometimes you need to remind them that they're not. You're not a babysitter. You're his dad. This is our home where the three of us live. And Justin says, and by being his dad, I will watch him and pick him up if you wish. You're not a babysitter, Justin. You don't watch him. You can simply come home and be home with him, you know, the home where our family lives. Okay. Then Justin says he needs space. Emily, take a break. It's okay. Give a little dead air like Jimmy. Yeah. I like Jimmy's dead air, though, because he's always like doing something funny and like looking at the camera in like a really devious way. But I really do feel like I just ran a marathon. I want to talk about needing space, because he says he needs space, which is fine. Take your space, but space can't just be dead air. Like space in a relationship can't just be like, I'm going off in my space. Space needs to be defined. I need space for 2 days where I'm not going to be on my phone at all, and I just need time to process. I need to talk to my family. I need a day away just so that I can feel better about things. I can approach our conversation better. I need space. And on Tuesday at 10 o'clock, I want to meet you in this place, and I'll be ready to have a conversation. I just don't feel ready now, and I don't want to say something I'm going to regret. Space is not just infinite, and that is what Kelsey was getting, and that's really scary. Karma Dharma said, please dissect why didn't Justin want to go in her house? Well, according to him, it's luring. He was being lured. He's like a fish in a pond, and he sees bread on a hook, and he's like, I'm not getting that hook. That bread is on a fishing rod. I don't know what he thought. He's being dramatic. If there was some reason why he really felt like she was going to do something, he does not say it out loud or does not text it. So we can only guess. Kelsey very rationally says, your space is abandoning your family. I don't understand why you can't come to our house and you won't explain it. And then they talk about what happened. And this part right here, I read as like she's just kind of throwing everything out there to see if there's anything that will kind of tug on Justin's heartstrings and like bring back kind of like the man she used to know, the guy that she fell in love with. When she says things like, sad that you let your feelings toward me affect your son, poor kid. Like she's just trying to see if there's anything that can kind of like pierce his cold, dead heart at this point. Would you like to tour his daycare with me? Primary parent, doing primary parent responsibilities. I can't even get into this. I have so many thoughts about the mom offering daycare. Mhm. Okay. Do you want to place, so Justin says, do you want to place a 4-month-old into daycare? And Kelsey says, I am, yes. Justin needs his debit card and does not want her to touch his stuff. I imagine there's some things in there he probably doesn't want her to see. Why else do you say don't touch my stuff? I believe Kelsey here. You've told people that you're leaving me, but you haven't told me. Who on earth have I told that to? I think Justin wants to know who he can't trust. And also, it sounds like he said it to a number of people because he's trying to figure out which one of those people he can't trust. So he's literally saying it to everybody and not her. And Kelsey says, if you're leaving me, you need to tell me so I can figure out my life, not tell others, tell me. Yeah, that's the bar is very low, Justin, and you're not even meeting that. You want to leave your girlfriend who just gave birth to your child? You should probably tell her. Justin says that he needs space and time, and Kelsey says that doesn't tell me anything. I need to come up with a plan. And now she starts asking about the wedding. And to me, this is another one kind of like getting to the heartstrings. Like you got down on one knee and you proposed, and it was probably a beautiful day, and you guys started planning this wedding. And there was a time where like talking about the wedding was probably really exciting. And now she's asking, am I paying our venue the $6K? Is basically saying, are we still getting married? When she's saying to him, do you want me to send it or hold off? It's not about like the errand of sending the check. It's about like, do you still want to marry me? And he's not answering her. And all she's looking for is to be like, yes, babe, we're just in a fight right now. Like this is going to blow over. Of course, I still want to marry you. I love you so much. And she's not getting that. And it's devastating. Yeah, he didn't want to look like the bad guy. Sup, Claire? Welcome to the hellhole that whoopsies. Oh, I didn't do that one well. Welcome to the hellhole that is Justin's brain. So she's asking, what am I doing? As in like, am I getting married or am I like separating from you? Or are we figuring out custody? Like what is happening in my life right now? It's not about the money to her. It's about is the wedding happening or not? And Justin's like, I don't know how to tell you, because if I just say I'm leaving you, then I look like a D-bag. So I don't want to be the one to look like a D-bag, but also I don't want to be with you anymore. So just give me space and time. So this is happening now at 11:52 on June 30th. And they talked on the phone at some point in between this. And Kelsey says, I'll meet you at the Common at 2 p.m. And then Justin says, for what? And Kelsey says, what do you mean for what? On the phone, you said that we can meet up in public or go for a walk. I'll see you at the Common at 2 with Caden. Like, you said that this was within your stipulations. I am agreeing to it. I'll see you there at 2. Now suddenly he has no money and he can't get gas, and he calls his parents Lisa and Dougie. And he says, "Can we meet tomorrow instead, unless Lisa comes home and I can get some money for gas? Because you're a 31-year-old man with a union-backed job and you have no money and all you care about is money. It's weird. Where did all your money go? Is it in the fridge in your acid tinfoil?" I think maybe yes. Kelsey says, "I'll meet you at the Common at 2. And Justin says, "For what?" What? Because you said that was okay. She wants to talk to you. On the phone, you said we can meet up in public or go for a walk. I'll see you in the Common at 2. Okay. Then she's going to work. Now this is probably like, she's going to work at 12:30. And she has this debit card, blah, blah, blah. She didn't mean to do that. Okay. So she goes to work at 12:30. And this is the part where, when I was talking earlier about the systems that are in place, she goes to work at the police station to get recertified for CPR. And she sees all of her colleagues who are police officers who enforce our laws. And she brings the baby there, and all of them see her and spend time with her. And if any of them had concerns that she really was going to do something to hurt her child, they should not, and I would go as far to say would not, have let her leave that police station. And because none of them stopped her from leaving the police station or expressed concerns to her, I am going to assume that none of them had concerns about the baby's safety or her own safety. And so I don't understand why they are complicit in what he is going to do next. Like, from what Bradel said in court, they were all like posing for pictures with the baby. Like, if you're worried that this woman is going to hurt her baby, you're not like, let me take a picture with the baby first before you do something to it. No, like, no, you would make sure that they were safe. You would enforce the laws as police officers do. This is the part that seems like it really triggered Justin. Kelsey says, "I'm done." So Justin still says he has no gas. He can't go anywhere. Kelsey says, "Okay, I'm going to go up to my land in New Hampshire for a little while. It's her happy place." That's a good idea. Now, okay, I pieced together what happened here. So they're supposed to meet at the Common at 2. The drive from the police station to the Common passes by her friend Hunter's house. Justin knows that. And when she passes by Hunter's house, she sees a whole like parking lot of cars outside of Hunter's house. And she's looking, it's her friend Hunter, and she knows the house, and she's looking and she's like, there's Justin's car. There's Justin's sister's car. There's Katrina's car. There's Deandra's car. What are you all doing at Hunter's house? And I don't know. I kind of get the vibe that like her gut was telling her it wasn't just like a pool party, that it was like they were plotting something against her, because I think that, I mean, maybe not, but I think that your gut kind of knows, and it feels like her gut knew like something really bad was happening. So she says, "Justin, where are you? Why are you at Hunter's with your sister? What is going on? I thought I was meeting you at the Common. What is going on?" Yeah, what is going on, Justin? So they had talked on the phone. You called me saying you were on your way to North Andover. Your mom gave you money, and then you would see me at 2. WTF happened since that phone call. So he made sure that she was going to be at the park so that she wouldn't be either at the house or with him, so that he could put this plan into place. Diabolical. I hate this. She's really sad. She's saying a whole bunch of things to like just try to like get through to him. If you're trying to hurt me, you're succeeding. I'm really fucking hurt. You made it clear I'm not your family. You didn't have to lie to me. Like, yeah, you didn't. Why did you leave me alone? The you're mean, just like really like does something. I just feel like that's what you say when you're like, please just like, can something in you like see me for a human and just like not be mean to me anymore? Like, can you just love me again and like be nice to me and not be like this? And she's just not getting any of that back. Yeah. Yes, I can. Leanie said, I can feel the anxiety for her seeing her car there. I can literally feel it in my stomach. Like, oh my gosh. She looks over and it's like everybody she knows is at that house. You're shaking. Oh, I feel terrible for her. Okay, so that's all. That is where we're at 2:00. And now this is what's happening now we know this is happening inside of Hunter's house. So Justin and Justin's sister are inside of Hunter's house making these phone calls.
Nothing under police and fire calls being recorded.
He calls one other time before this at like 2:02 or something. Like basically at the exact same time that Kelsey starts texting is when he the first time. And then they don't connect. And now he calls back. And so this is like his phone is dinging from Kelsey while he's making this call.
Recorded.
Hey, this is Justin again. I'm just calling Lieutenant Whitaker back. I just missed his call, unfortunately.
Yeah, Justin, it's me.
Oh, okay. How you doing, sir? I had a couple quick questions for you again.
Yeah.
So she's messaging me telling me that she's planning on taking the baby up to the land in New Hampshire. Do I have any rights to make sure that she does not leave with that child?
At this point, I don't think we do. I've spoken to my superior.
Yeah.
Filled him in on everything that we talked about, and we don't really have the right to deny her child.
Do I have any rights as the father to obtain my child since she's had him for several nights now? Do I have any right to, hey, this is the custody, we're both parents here. It's almost my turn to have the kid for the night, so I can know that he's safe and I can go find.
Okay, wait. I've talked about this already, about him saying that he's not expressing any worry about the baby at all. He just wants a turn with the baby. But now we know that where the land, so she's taking him to the land in New Hampshire. So this is like right in between those text messages where she's like, I'm going to go to New Hampshire for a few days. And instead of him being like, no, don't, I want to turn with the baby, he calls the police. Yeah. Okay. Continue.
All these after?
Through the police department, no, we don't have that ability. The only way that you would be able to do that if you spoke directly to her and said, you know, I'd like some time with the baby, and if she agrees to that, great. But it sounds like she's
not
probably not gonna be. Yeah.
I have my sister who's had a quick question for you as well.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of this, and so I'm on the page of we need to get the baby out of her hands like now, or something really bad could happen. And I know you guys.
Also, at no point in this conversation, maybe in their off the record conversation that happened before this, at no point during this does he ask, like, did you see Kelsey when she came to the police department? Was she okay? Was the baby okay? Did they seem off? Like, he's not asking any questions about her well-being or the baby's well-being. Yeah, she does. And he is not, we're not concerned about the baby. This is not how you act when you are concerned about the baby. Gen X Erica said, I really wish we had their first call. I'm assuming the first call was to his like cell phone or something, because unless it's on a recorded line that we just don't have access to yet, hopefully. I hope that's what it is, but it sounds sketchier than that. And the way he says, like, I filled him in on everything that we talked about. Like, did you firsthand see any of the things that he's telling you about? Did you feel like she was a danger? And if you did, why did you just let her leave? And if you didn't, then why are you entertaining this? Why not say like, hey, you know what? Like, she actually seemed fine when I just saw her. Like, why don't you both take some time to cool off and talk tomorrow? Well, I knew I was going to do that.
No, if she agrees to that, great. But it sounds.
To try to take, if she were to try to take the baby out of the state, does that go against anything? Because that's what she's threatening with. Does the state matter at all? The state line?
It really doesn't. It's her child.
It doesn't.
You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
One other question for you, because I think, you know, we're talking about going to the courthouse. How do we, and especially because she is a police officer in this town and everyone talks, and I'm just wondering, if we go file this, how do we, because if she finds out that this is filed before it's being addressed, it's going to end really horribly. So how do we actually ensure, and what it, like, I guess, do you know anything about that process? Would a police officer come with us, or with Justin to the house to get the baby? If this is assuming the custody was ordered, that the restraining order and the custody were ordered, what does that look like? Because we're very worried she'd find out before it could actually take place.
Yeah. So if that's the case, then so the way, if an order is granted, they will then email a copy of the order to us for service. So we would serve it and then enforce it. So it would be like, here's your restraining order. Per the order, custody of the child is awarded to Justin. In which case we would have to make arrangements, you know, for him to come take the child.
Okay, so he would not be there when you're presenting that. I mean, this might be an obvious question, I guess, because if he has the restraining order, he shouldn't be there.
Probably
correct?
not.
Guys...
I mean, we should probably take care of that. It's okay if he wants to be close by, like, in order to take custody of the child quickly.
Yeah, right.
You know, he could come if he's in town. You know, we could then reach out to him and say, okay, she's been served. You can come pick up the child now.
Okay, one, just to, I guess, make sure that, because I know you guys will get notified if there is an emergency order put through. Like, I mean, she's an officer, of course. What does she have access to see? I'm just like, is there a way to flag this directly to, you know, the trusted?
No, when it gets sent to the officer in charge. So nobody sees that except the officer in charge and anyone else who has access to that email, which she does not.
Okay, so that's reassuring. So I'm just trying to make sure there's no chance she could find out before this happens.
Did she catch wind while she was at the police station of anything occurring? Like,
nope.
No. Okay.
Nope. I didn't want to tip her off and give her the opportunity to do anything rash.
Thank you. All right, officer. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Again, no concern for, was she okay at the police station? Just, did she find out this devious plan that I'm putting into action? Okay, now this is Kelsey's version of events. So this is from a filing that that she put out through Bradle like mid-July, and it was called "To Set the Record Straight." She says, on June 30th, 2025, I received a phone call from my fiance to meet him at the park to go for a walk with our baby boy together. After almost 3 hours of waiting for him, which I think that actually might be exaggerating looking at the timestamps, because she texted him at 2 and said, what's going on? And she went to work at 12:30. But I'll call it out on both sides when I see it. And no communication from him. I went home very confused as he never showed up. Actually, maybe still, okay, so she was texting him from the park. She stayed there, So it could have been 3 hours. I take that back. About an hour later, I was sitting on my couch feeding my baby boy. That's how you talk about your child, my baby boy, when I got a knock on my front door. Very confused to see 3 of my colleagues, I opened the door and I am told the following. Your fiancé has filed a restraining order against you. He will be taking your son away with no contact allowed. Your firearms license that was just returned is gone again. And oh yeah, that career you worked so hard for in love that you were just cleared to return to, that will be taken away too. Following this interaction, I packed bags containing baby food, clothes, diapers, toys, etc. for my son to be taken away from me. I passed my son off to a fellow police officer and I went into my bedroom. In that horrible moment, I didn't want to live after my whole world was turned upside down in the matter of a 10-second conversation due to someone alleging horrible, untrue things. So, what are those horrible, untrue things? This is the order that Justin ended up bringing down to the courthouse after that call with his sister liaison. At the top, it says on or about June 28th. I was wondering if he's trying to say that all this only happened on June 28th, or that he wrote this on June 28th. I think it's that he's trying to say that this is when it all happened. So he says, Kelsey Fitzsimmons is a danger to myself and our son along with herself. On Saturday night, June 28th, Kelsey struck me with a closed fist 3 times to my face. I was scared she would not stop. My brother and sister heard noises and knocked. I was able to open the door and let me cross something out. I can't. Immediately said she didn't do anything. And then he crossed that out and said, oh, she immediately said she didn't do anything. And then he crossed that out and wrote, grabbed my arm and ripped me back into the room. Which one did she immediately do? My brother and sister came in and she said she didn't do anything. I feared for my life. So I left with a friend to stay at a hotel. Family and her closest friends reported that even after I left, she physically hit them to try and get to me. Everyone's trying to get to him. You're amazing, Justin. You're perfect. Her friends called the Bethel police in Maine. Is there a police report? Okay, so there is a police report. Methuen Police in Massachusetts and North Andover Police in Massachusetts, because they thought she might try to hurt herself, the baby, or me. Kelsey decided at 2 a.m. while heavily intoxicated and fighting her friends that she would leave to get the baby. Her parents took our son from my parents in the middle of the night, saying they didn't care what manic state she was in. They were taking the baby to her. Today, Kelsey is threatening to take the baby far, far away for a long, long time. This is how she has spoken about taking her own life in the past. I fear that she will take the baby's life at any moment. She punched her stomach repeatedly while pregnant, saying she would take her own life and the baby. She has on several occasions struck me with her hands or feet. I fear if she does not have me, she will take the baby's life because she has said nothing besides me is worth living for. I did not hear that in those texts. In March 2025, she was sectioned by Lawrence General Hospital. This is an ongoing safety concern. Signed, Justin Alayan in his same terrible chicken scratch. So this is what the police received. And that was, and this is going back to what I was talking about with systems. This is all that they needed to then go take her baby. There was no additional step in between this 1.25 page narrative that he wrote and the baby being taken from Kelsey's shoulder and placed into his arms and said, see you later, have fun. And that to me is where the problem lies. Because all that somebody would need to know is how to say things like, where did that just go? How to say the buzzwords that you're supposed, yeah, he knew what keywords to hit. Like all you need to, in imminent fear, in imminent danger, I don't know what will happen. Yeah, exactly. But that seems like a dangerous system for us to have in place without additional safeguards to make sure that it is the safe parent that is the one filing this. There are, and again, like there are scenarios where we want people to move this quickly and we want to make sure that a child is safe. It just doesn't feel like the steps are in place once something like this is filed to make sure that there's any truth to it. And if there were more systems in place, it wouldn't hurt the people that need it quickly. So they would move just as quickly. There would just be an additional safeguard where somebody trained in domestic violence or social work has the questions to ask the person that this is filed against to ensure that this is a credible threat and that the baby is going to the person that should have custody of that baby. And that's not what happened here. He did not fill out this one. I strongly believe Ms. Fitzsimmons will cause physical harm and emotional to our child. That is not Justin's handwriting. So even if we are going to give him that this one is the one that he wrote, this definitely is not. So who you got a little tired from writing all of that? He fills out on the 30th also, and it is yeah. This, you did not write this. Who wrote that for you? Okay. Yep, didn't write that either. All he did was print his name and sign it, if even that. But that's all he had to do. He had to go check, 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 and here's your baby. And that scares me. Okay, so that call happened. The first call happened at 2:10. Now,
North Andover Police and
we
Fire.
already did that. Okay, so now it is 4:49 p.m. So from that call where they were asking about going to the courthouse to file that at 2:10, it's now 2.5 hours later, and he's filled out all the paperwork, filed the paperwork, they've reviewed the paperwork, they've sent the email over to the police, and now they're at the house. And again, good that you act quickly if it's in the best interest of the child. Just feels like this was in the best interest of the Justin. Just seeing her with the baby breaks my heart. And they just barge right in. She's very confused. And then everything happens within 10 minutes of that. Okay, this is the police's statement of facts. Contrary, so this was filed by the Commonwealth based on the police reports. Contrary to the defendant's claim, barf already, the facts of the underlying allegation are hotly contested. At approximately 6 o'clock, that timestamp said 4:49, but okay. Lieutenant Sean Daly, Officer Patrick Noonan, and Officer Timothy Houston of the North Andover Police Department responded to Kelsey's house to serve her with a restraining order. She resided there with her fiance, Justin Nalayan, and their 4-month-old infant. Earlier that day, Elaine had sought and was granted an abuse prevention order out of the Essex Probate and Family Court. Elaine alleged that the defendant physically assaulted him over the previous weekend and that he was in fear of her and for the safety of his child. He stated that the defendant had assaulted him in the past and feared that the defendant would hurt herself and the child if he were to leave. Along with serving the order, the officers intended to remove the defendant's firearms from the residence and transfer custody of the child to Elaine. The officers informed the defendant about the restraining order, advising her that she was thus required to relinquish her and give Elaine the baby. The defendant told the officers that her firearms were locked in a safe in the basement. Approximately 10 minutes after the officers arrived at the residence, they called Elaine to gather his belongings and take custody of the infant. In anticipation of Elaine taking the baby, the defendant began to gather items, for example, clothing, diapers, bottles, from around the house. Officers Houston and Noonan escorted her between the rooms. After gathering bottles and diapers on the first floor, the officers escorted the defendant to the second floor where she could gather baby clothes. While they were on the second floor, Elaine and the defendant's mother arrived at the house. When the defendant heard Elaine, she asked Officer Houston to keep him away from her. To maintain order, Officer Houston left the defendant and Officer Noonan on the second floor and went to monitor Elaine as he gathered belongings in the basement. Lieutenant Daly remained on the first floor with the defendant's mother, Elaine, and Officer Houston. I thought Elaine was in the basement. Okay. Minutes later, he heard Officer Noonan on the second floor yell, "Kelsey, don't do it. Kelsey, don't do it," followed by 2 gunshots. He ran upstairs and rendered first aid to the defendant and requested an ambulance to the scene. Lieutenant Daly observed a firearm where the defendant was lying and moved it to the bed out of reach of the defendant. Okay. Officer Noonan explained that he was briefly alone with the defendant on the small second floor. The defendant was kneeling on the floor in her bedroom while folding laundry for the baby. While standing in the doorway, Officer Noonan observed the defendant face him, lunge behind the door, which they have now changed to the door frame in their new story, and reappear, pointing a firearm directly at him. It's like a magic trick. The defendant pulled the trigger and he heard a click, but no round fired. The defendant began to stand up as Officer Noonan pulled his firearm out of its holster. As the defendant attempted to rack her firearm to chamber around, Officer Noonan gave several commands, including drop the gun and don't do it, which nobody else heard. Believing that she was trying to kill him, Officer Noonan fired once. As the defendant continued trying to chamber around, Officer Noonan fired a second round, striking the defendant. That's their version. Now we have Kelsey's version. Kelsey says, "I never pointed my firearm at the officer. That officer was not just a colleague, he was my friend. That officer and I experienced a very difficult and sad call for service together last summer. That call for service that day was a true tragedy and caused this officer and I to build a friendship due to experiencing it together. We entered the home and walked into something no human being should ever see, a murder-suicide scene with a mother and her infant. As a rookie police officer, this was devastating to me. At the time, I was 20 weeks pregnant. The officer that shot me experienced this call with me. To this day, his support during that hard time is something I am still grateful for, regardless of this recent incident that occurred. This traumatic murder-suicide call was the catalyst for my mental health complications. As a police officer myself, I would never even think to intentionally hurt another police officer. I see everyone in uniform as my brothers and sisters. I especially would never hurt my friend who has a loving wife and children. I just would never. My firearm was never pointed in any direction other than my temple. When I pulled the trigger, my gun did not fire. However, I immediately got shot in the chest by my colleague and friend. I am extremely grateful for two things: that God protected me from my attempt of taking my own life and protected me by millimeters of dying from that gunshot wound to my chest. I will survive and thrive. I know I need to be on this earth for many reasons, but most importantly, my beautiful son. This is my covenant with God and my son. Oh my God. Yeah, I believe like this is a much more believable story. And I'm glad that it seems like the judge is going to be open-minded to listening to that, because that everything that I see leading up to this in the text messages and the way that Justin ambushed her with this, in where her head was at in terms of she thought she was meeting him and they were going to reconcile. And then from that kind of hope, she went back, she was getting her CPR certification so she could go back to work. She was seeing her colleagues. She had all this hope. And then to find out behind the scenes that this was going on, that story makes sense to me. And I hope it makes sense to the judge too. Okay. This is where me and Kelsey are speaking the same language. We have a broken legal system where someone can walk into a courthouse, write anything that self-serves them on an affidavit, and as a result, a brand new mother suffering with postpartum depression gets her baby taken away. We are calling on the legislature and the governor to reform this abomination of a statute where the first person to get to the court and fill out a form can take a mother's newborn away from her if they can sneak in front of a judge without the mother's notice or opportunity to be heard. If there is an immediate issue, someone can call 911. The courts are not equipped for proper on-the-spot decision-making in this context without hearing from both sides. As a police officer, I am trained to know what to do if I encounter a suicidal individual who is only displaying a threat to themselves. I certainly was not trained to shoot a suicidal person in the chest. But here I am today, 2 surgeries later, bedridden and trying really hard to heal from these significant injuries. I am facing felony charges for a half-hearted attempt to take my own life. Let me say that again. I am in trouble and have a gunshot wound to my chest because in that awful, isolated moment, I no longer had the will to live. Yeah. This is kind of long. Do you guys want to see this? This was the press conference where they go over the details. It was the on July 1st, like when they were just finding out some of the details. I will play it if you want to see it. If not, it's like kind of long. I just get bored sometimes when things are long. So that's just me. But if you guys want to see it, let me know. And that's where they talk about they didn't have body cam. Okay, I'll play it. Okay. Here we go.
I'm the district attorney for Essex County. I'm here with Chief Gray and members of his command staff. First, let me say thank you all for your patience last evening. As you can imagine, when an event takes place at 6 p.m. and we're all looking for answers, I know you had lots of questions last night. The public had lots of questions, but we thought that everyone would be better served by getting as many preliminary facts as we could and then putting it out today, obviously with an eye toward being as transparent as we can given the circumstances. Last evening, shortly after 6 p.m., 3 North Andover police officers went to 125 Phillips Brook Road in North Andover. The purpose of going there was to serve a court-approved restraining order. The subject of the restraining order was 28-year-old Kelsey Fitzsimmons. Ms. Fitzsimmons was an off-duty North Andover police officer. She has approximately a year and a half on the job here with NAPD. 3 North Andover police officers were on the scene, one of whom was a supervisor. When one of the officers was escorting Ms. Fitzsimmons during the service of the court order, an armed confrontation took place. As a result of that armed confrontation, one of the responding officers discharged their weapon, which struck Ms. Fitzsimmons once. She was immediately given medical care. She was med-flighted to a Boston hospital, and as of this morning, we're told she is in stable condition. The officer that discharged the firearm is a veteran officer having served over 20 years with the department. Now, as you can imagine, we're only about 16 hours out from this incident. There are still lots of questions. There's an ongoing investigation. Currently, the investigation is being done by Massachusetts State Police detectives assigned to my office at the Essex DA's office under the direction of Captain John Costa and Detective Lieutenant Robert DeMeo. There are lots of interviews to be done. There are lots of pieces to be put together. There's lots of things that remain unanswered. But for now, we want to make sure that the people of North Andover and across the Commonwealth know as much as we can give out at this time, being as transparent as we can. We also know that serving restraining orders, court-approved restraining orders, are sometimes some of the most dangerous duties that police officers uncover, no matter who the object of that order is. Chief Gray has been a great partner with us, not only through this investigation, but through many others. I want to make sure we give the chief an opportunity to speak, particularly about his officers. And sometimes we worry deeply about the wellness of our police officers, well, particularly in difficult circumstances. So they're in our thoughts. Chief Gray.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Just some quick words on what happened. It's an ongoing investigation, like the DA said. There's not much we can talk about. We're concerned for all the officers on duty and off duty, and we're just going to monitor and hopefully get some results.
Okay. We will be able to take some questions, and to the extent that the chief and I are able to answer them, we will. As you can imagine, over the next few days, we'll probably be getting more answers. There are lots of interviews being done. State police detectives worked well into the night last night. We spoke with them this morning. They're already at it this morning. So to the extent that we can answer some questions, we will. Some we may have to defer for a little bit more time. We're going to make sure that what we do give you is accurate information rather than speculation. I know you all appreciate that as well. So having said that, we can take some questions and we'll do the best we can to answer.
Was the off-duty officer armed, and what precipitated the on-duty officer to fire at her?
So what we're saying is accurately that there was an armed confrontation. In terms of the details of that and how that came to be.
What we're saying accurately. Okay.
It was during the service of the court-approved restraining order, but the very granular details we're waiting to speak on until we get the interviews back from our state police detectives who are speaking with the North Andover officers that were involved.
How about the restraining order? Can you tell us what all the nature of that, who was it for, et cetera?
So I can't comment on who the plaintiff was, but I can tell you that a court order, there are check boxes. Oftentimes it's stay away from, no contact, and turn over all firearms. So the restraining order was a standard 209A filed by the plaintiff and served by the North Andover officers.
The officers want to retrieve her weapon?
Pursuant to the court order, one of the standard boxes to check is retrieval of any firearms in the home. That's standard operating.
Can you say where she was struck?
No, I'm not going to comment on the medical condition at all.
Can you say how many people were in the house at the time, including Ms. Fitzsimmons?
I can tell you that there were 3 North Andover police officers. In terms of other people in the house, until I get the full reports back, I won't be able to tell you how many and who they were.
Is there any body camera footage of what happened?
We're actually looking to see what camera footage is available. I have not seen any, and I don't have any reports on any.
Do North Andover police officers typically have body cameras on when they're executing these court orders?
No, the North Andover Police Department does not use body cameras at this time.
Can you speak at all to her mental health, and also was this related at all to her efforts to have her weapon was taken away from her, and then she had sought relief in the courts, and I think it was Friday she dismissed that. Is this related to that at all?
So the scope of our investigation right now is the actual armed confrontation. I'm sure that there'll be further information coming out. I'm sure that North Andover PD will be looking at that as well. But in terms of commentary on her mental health, I'm not comfortable speaking on that at this time.
Can you talk at all about the efforts that she sought to have her weapon given back to her? Can you speak to that at all? What that situation was and why?
So, Chief of Personnel Matter.
Personnel matter,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Chief, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it is a personnel matter, so we're not going to speak about anything like that. Yes, ma'am.
I know you guys are pros. Can you speak about how you're all feeling today? Not just the 3 responding officers, how you're feeling? What's the mood?
I mean, it's a critical incident, and like a lot of critical incidents that police officers deal with, we all have our own way of, getting through it, whether together or by ourselves, and this is no different.
Chief, she was a member of the department. Did she know the officers who were coming to her home? Did everyone know each other?
I would assume so, yes.
Can you talk about her as an officer on the department, what she was like, why she wanted to become a police officer?
At this time, I'm not comfortable talking about that sort of thing.
How about in terms of charges? I mean, will there be some charges at some point? I mean, I would ask you just one other thing. That we have reports that she may have been involved in an incident in Maine at an Airbnb over the weekend, and then was involved in an accident on the Maine Turnpike. Is there any truth to that? Can you speak to that at all?
Not specifically as to what occurred prior to what we've spoken about already, but the what the lead up to it certainly would be something that would be part of the investigation. And you had a first part.
I just wondered about charges. At what point in time would she be charged? Would you wait till she came out of the hospital? How long she might be there?
So we don't know how long she'll be treated. The good news is that she's in stable condition. In terms of charging, there will be meetings between our state police detectives and our senior trial team. We've already met this morning. As of right now, I can't tell you what those charges will be, except to say that our senior trial team will be working with the detectives, and to the extent that charges will come forward, they will fit what took place here.
Well, I'm sorry, but in terms of what's her status with the department right now? She's suspended, administrative, et cetera?
Right now, it's on administrative leave.
How about the other officers? Are they on leave?
Again, this is like the DA said, they're 16 hours old. So we're assessing the other officers, and we're going through our policies and determining what sort of action is going to be taken as far as time off or any sort of other methods.
Yeah.
Are you able to say how long she's been on administrative leave?
I think we'll just leave it that she was on administrative leave. And I also
At
just,
the time of the incident, she was on administrative leave?
she was, I would just say she was on administrative leave, and that leave obviously is now going to be extended. So we'll just leave it at that. I do want to make a comment, though. There's been 3 questions, and I think that all of them are very good questions when it comes to officers' mental health. And think about the things that police officers have to face. Now you take a look at the circumstances that are known to us that occurred in this particular incident. We worry deeply about the mental health of our officers. I know Chief Gray does worry greatly about his officers, as do I. I was a 32-year police officer myself. I know the struggles that the officers have, and I appreciate the questions. And I just don't want it to be lost in the swirl of the headlines that these are humans. These are police officers that have to make quick decisions, that use of potentially using deadly force. This is something that should not go unnoticed or unappreciated by the public. So I appreciate your questions on that.
Is she under guard at the hospital?
So we never comment on if somebody's under guard or what the security is at the hospital. That's just something that we routinely do not comment on.
I sort of asked this question before, and you maybe said that you couldn't answer it, but related to her weapon, did she have it in possession at the time of this or not? I know you said that the boxes are checked, and did she have her weapon been returned? Yeah.
So we're not commenting on the weapons. All I can tell you is that on the order, there was a checkbox if there were weapons home to retrieve them, which we would have done if they were there. So, all right. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Again, I appreciate your patience last night and coming back today. I know this is a matter of great public interest, and we wanted to make sure that rather than come out last night and not really have much for you, we'd rather than be expeditious about it, we wanted to make sure that we were accurate and factual. So to that extent, I want to thank all of you for coming back. So appreciate it.
Well, don't show a ton of concern for Kelsey. Yeah, they seem scared. Yeah, just in it for the money is a proper nickname for this man, this child. Now we get into Justin is now filing for permanent full sole custody, and that's on July 1st. He lists his address as 28 Maple Street in Stowe, which is an important detail to remember when he's being told that he's allowed to go into his house. So Kelsey is in the hospital now. He wants to go get stuff from the house. Apparently, I guess it's not a crime scene anymore. They went in the next day and cleared it, I guess. And he... what I keep focusing on now in this is at no point do any of the officers that he talks to on the 911 calls ask about Kelsey at all. And nobody says, hey, have you heard any updates about how she's doing? There is no concern for Kelsey through any of this. Yes, justice for Kelsey. She deserves it. Okay.
Northern Police and Fire, this call is quartered.
Hi, this is Justin Land.
Also, I don't think I've played these already. I don't think we'll listen to the whole call. But what I really want to focus on is Justin's demeanor at the beginning of these calls on the July 2nd and at the end of the calls on July 3rd when he breaks into the house, and how still at no point did any of these trained police officers that are talking to him have any concern about the fact that he's the one now in sole custody of this child, and there still has not been any checks about if he's fit to be in the sole parent.
I'm on the North End Fire Department. I am off duty right now. I do need to speak with the OIC.
Yes, sir. Hold on one second, please.
Hey, is this Justin?
Yes, this
Hey,
is.
it's Katie. How are you? I mean, that's a silly question, but I digress. I do care.
No, I'm doing as well.
Thinking
as I
about
can be
you
right
guys.
now, and
Yeah. So what can I do for you,
Katie,
Justin? What's that?
I need to discuss my options of retrieving all of my belongings from Phillips Brooks.
Oh, gotcha. I gotcha. Well, it's your house, so I'm assuming that you can make whatever arrangements if you just want us to because let's just say
Okay, I'm going to skip ahead because we've heard these before and I've played this before, but now, so she tells him it's your house. Go ahead, do whatever you want. Take the TV. They'll figure it out in probate court later. The world is your oyster, Justin. Have fun.
Please fire, you've been recorded.
Hey, this is Justin Alan, off-duty firefighter. Can I speak to OIC?
Hold on, sir. Please.
Lieutenant Soys, can I help you?
Hi, this is Justin Alan. I'm going to 125 Phillips Brooks to retrieve all of my belongings today with other members of the fire department. I had spoken to Sergeant Gerke yesterday about what would happen if she said I had full authorization to retrieve all my belongings, and if her family shows up to call for a police officer. Given the intense nature of what has happened in that house and what her family has already been trying to do, I need to request a police officer is there at 9:30 when I show up.
Okay.
We're going to be there for 2 hours, and given the potential and the intense nature of what happened there, I don't know what has happened. I don't know what they're going to do, and I'm going to have to request that a police officer is there.
Okay, yeah, we have, can you hold on 1 second?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So they tell him he can't get his own
Today was
personal
that,
detail.
we weren't going to prevent you.
And then
3 hours.
Katie comes on to defend herself, saying that he can go over
And
there.
it's Katie. We spoke yesterday.
We
You
did
asked
speak yesterday.
Huh?
We did speak yesterday.
We did speak yesterday. But given the intense nature of this situation and what could occur, I'm going to be there for 3 hours. I know what her father is capable of. I know what could happen.
But
The pressure media are there. I'm just telling you.
I understand the stressful situation, but what we spoke to yesterday was that we weren't going to prevent you from going in the house, but if something happened, you could call us right away and we'd be there that was what we spoke.
No, we did speak about that, and after thinking about it again, I wanted to make my concerns noted 2 times. So if something does happen,
now we're getting angry.
My child and myself should have never happened. I will absolutely.
My child and myself should have never happened.
Escalate whatever I have to do. If I'm saying that I don't feel comfortable and I don't want to put my brother again, my friends into a situation where something could occur, or if you knew what happened, I don't know what her family would be capable of at this point. They've already filed negligence against me as the father when there has been nothing. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what they would be capable of. But if you want to wait and find out, that is on you. And I am glad this is a recorded line.
Okay.
So I will be there at 9:30. If you do not have someone there, all of my concerns have been noted. Thank you for your time and goodbye.
Good day, sir. How come at no point are they like, hey, Justin, take it down a notch? Are you, should we send somebody for your mental health? Do we need a 209A on you now? Okay. So then they do something that is not a breaking and entering, even though they break and enter. This is not a breaking and entering. Somebody on Twitter put this video footage to that Afro Man song that's like, can you fix my door? And it was so funny and so perfect. Stay in your lane because these people are scary. But also maybe do some recon spy work for us. Make sure Caden's okay. Yep. So they're doing the same thing that the police officers did to Afro Man. And now we turn off the surveillance system. Cool. 9:36 a.m. And he calls 911.
North Andover Police and Fire, this line's recorded.
This is Justin Milan. I need to speak to the OIC.
I'm sorry, who is this? Oh, who is this?
They have some trouble connecting. The alarm's going off. They're all chaotic.
Change the locks. The alarm did go off. Her dad has he set the full system up. He has everything. He's going to know the alarm's going off, and I have no doubt in my mind he's going to be driving down from New Hampshire to show up here.
Okay. Whereabouts from New Hampshire would he be coming from?
He's up in the not the Rochester. I forget exactly what town he's in. He's probably about 40 minutes away, 30 minutes away. I don't know if he's coming, but I have no doubt in my mind that man is going to come down with a vengeance.
Okay. I mean, do you think that
I called 2 times. My family should have never been in this position. I called 2 times, once yesterday, once today, and I'm asking for a detail down here for 2 hours. If that's something that you guys cannot do, I will gladly escalate the situation. This is ridiculous.
what do you mean by escalate the situation?
I will go to the media. I will do whatever I have to do to ensure my family's safety, my brother's safety here, and 2 firefighters that are here. If his family comes down, they are absolutely going to be doing something.
Okay.
And if you're saying there's no resources for this, it's insane.
If you need a detail, I can put a detail out.
I will not be paying for a detail given the circumstances of this. You can bring this to the chief. Please bring it to someone, because I am not paying a cent for this. This is ridiculous. Given the circumstances and the escalation of this situation, you not providing a detail and having it be your guys' idea is unbelievable.
And like hearing him like this, there's nothing. This is the same guy that he talked to, like in that off the books conversation where Justin said all the crazy things about Kelsey. There's no part of Lieutenant Whitaker hearing Justin act like this that's going, Justin sounded all innocent when he said, like, Kelsey was going crazy and all I wanted to do was go to sleep and get my beauty rest like an innocent little angel. And now you're hearing a different side of Justin, and there's no part of you that's going, did we pick the wrong side? Did we back the wrong team? Did we support the wrong parent in this situation? Because that's what I would be thinking. And that's that. This is from the documents. It says, after gaining entry to Kelsey's house, Justin went into the basement, disabled and destroyed the surveillance system that Kelsey's dad had just installed, causing thousands of dollars in damage. Additionally, the modem power was forcibly pulled out of its wiring by Justin and his accomplices. While in Kelsey's residence, Justin stole cash, gift cards, Kelsey's passport, her personal laptop computer, and other valuables. After stealing Kelsey's laptop, he brought it to his parents' house in Stowe, where it connected to the Stowe Wi-Fi network. From there, he accessed Kelsey's Facebook, AOL, and Gmail accounts, gained entry to bank accounts, then withdrew approximately $5,000 from their joint account, practically liquidating it, closed accounts, accessed her medical records and her pension beneficiary documents. Further, he canceled the party's travel reservations, redirecting those funds to his own account, All of these actions were traced and readily apparent on the laptop's recorded computer history. Yeah, I skipped that one too because of that. Prior to father seeking the instant 209A, there had never been any alleged abuse by Kelsey towards the baby or Justin. Even after the 209A, even after the 209A, the alleged abuse was against father, not child. In fact, shortly before Justin filed for the 209A, he wrote Kelsey a card, which Kelsey proudly displayed on the refrigerator of her home, which stated that she is an amazing mother and partner. This card, however, is now missing after Justin broke into her home and stole that card along with the mother's laptop, iPad, and passport. The card's whereabouts are currently unknown, but it was presumably discarded or destroyed by Justin, likely in an effort to conceal the true facts about Kelsey as a parent. Quote, amazing. And then in parentheses, the Commonwealth indicated that they produced a photograph of this evidence in their motion dated March 9th, 2026, but defense counsel has not received it despite requesting the same. So they're like, oh no, we took a picture of that. Justin didn't throw it away. And then Bradle's like, show it to me. And they're like, we did. Remember? No. The catalyst for the parties' relationship downfall, which led to the father voluntarily, we know about that. He was furious. We know about that. Okay. This is the police report from the officer that finally did respond to Kelsey's home after the non-breaking, breaking and entering. It's very detailed, as you can see. It says, on Thursday, July 3rd, I was assigned to fully marked Cruiser 305, scheduled at 8 a.m. At approximately 10:04, I was dispatched to Kelsey's house. Upon my arrival, I spoke with the homeowner, Stephen Fitzsimmons, who had recently arrived to the residence. In the adjacent parking lot was Justin Alayan. Alayan had recently called in a civil standby detail for 10:30 a.m. I think they're covering their butts. I separated Fitzsimmons and Alayan until backup arrived. After speaking with all parties, I determined that there was no issue, as Fitzsimmons and Alayan both desired to make the process as efficient and peaceful as possible. And then the scene was cleared. Sounds like there was probably another 911 call that maybe we didn't hear where they do dispatch officers, or perhaps Kelsey's dad called, but I don't know. And that's that. That's the end of, and Kelsey's in the hospital recovering. At no point does Justin ever reach out to her, find out if she's okay, ask about how she's doing. Yeah, the zero concern for Kelsey. It's really, really sad. And that is my 10-minute warning that I need to go pick up Carter soon. So perfect timing to wrap everything up. We're talking about all of this today because Kelsey's trial starts on Monday. And like I said at the beginning, it's a bench trial. To me, seeing the facts laid out like this, I feel very positive about her chances of being found not guilty and getting her life back at the end of this. I hope that for Kelsey's sake, well, number one, I hope that ultimately this will end up being a good thing for her. Like, it does seem like she was in a really difficult place when this whole fiasco started. And I think there is the potential that for somebody who was already in a bad state at the beginning of this, they could, end up going downhill and things just get worse. But Kelsey doesn't, you never really know. So I've never met her. I've never talked to her in person, but she doesn't, to me, she seems like somebody that, like, this is fueling her. This is giving her strength. This is going to make her better in the end. When the judge was asking her on the stand about if she he had to get her to like say that she wanted a bench trial, that it was her decision, and he asked her, what is your level of education? And she said, I went to half of law school. And the judge made a joke like, oh, that's all you need. And she looked at him and she was like, no, I'm going back. And I just felt like in that moment, it's like, yes, you are. Like, you see your future, like, you know what you're capable of. This is only going to make you stronger and better. And I'm really hopeful for her future. She deserves to see Caden months ago. She deserves to see Caden today. And I hope that that can happen as soon as possible. Sleepless Sleuth, thanks for being a member for 5 months. And you said thank you for all you do. Thank you for entertaining what I'm doing and for being here with me and for caring about this, because this really matters. And I've said this before, but these are the kind of things that if we're not paying attention to them, it's very easy for the people in power to sweep things under the rug, to make things go away, to keep these types of systems in place that benefit them. And it takes all of us making a big stink about it and saying that this is not okay and showing up for Kelsey and fundraising for Kelsey to make changes. And even, I think change takes a long time. Like, even if the changes aren't immediate to what the systems are that created this, just drawing attention to it really does make a difference. And, you know, maybe there's other people out there that are like, ooh, I don't ever want to sound like Katie Gerke on that 911 call. I'm going to make sure that I'm being, you know, more sympathetic to the parties involved that deserve sympathy. So I really appreciate you guys for caring about this. Thank you, Linda Richards, for your super sticker. I appreciate that so much. I wanted to, now I guess I ran out of time again, but I did want to show you quickly, if you're interested in supporting Bay Harbor Beauty and raising money for Kelsey, I'm not a big like skincare routine person because I'm not good at routines in general and anything, as you can see by the fact that I'll just randomly go live and then not. And but these products are like, you know, if you try a new skincare product and it like, you can feel it on your skin, like you're like, oh, I like have something on my face now. This is not that. So these are the two that I really like the best. This is the Rejuvenating Eye Cream. And it's like, you put it on and then you don't know that it's there. And then it just like makes your skin look nice. And then this one, the vitamin C, I don't know anything about skincare. Ferulic acid serum. All I know is that it feels really good. It's like, you know, when you drink like a glass of orange juice and then you're like, oh, I just like did something to my body that like my body wanted that. Like, it feels good inside. That's what this feels like on your skin. Yes. So I 10 out of 10 recommend if you want to support a great small business who's also supporting Kelsey. And that is in the description of this video. I need these alarms. Otherwise I have alarms for everything for myself. So that's everything. And I'm really excited to see how this is all going to play out next week. I feel like there's more that we don't know yet that we're going to find out. And I'm glad that we kind of have this, like, we have a lot of background knowledge already going into it, to be able to understand the way that this Commonwealth is going to choose to prosecute this. I'm prepared to be outraged at what they're going to smear Kelsey with. The fact that we only have these text messages because they fought so hard to get those text messages in, because they think it proves that those text messages prove that she would have shot Noonan, makes no sense to me. So I can't wait to see how they spin that one. But I hope you guys have a great day and a happy first day of spring, and I will see you next time, and maybe see you on Monday if you're there. Oh my gosh. And go right now. Oh, I should try to set it up so that it takes you there. Lauren, Common Sense Investigator, is doing a fundraiser tonight for Kelsey that I'm going to try, if Carter goes to bed early, to hop on. But if not, you should go support her. If I can figure out how to do this, I'm going to make it so that you guys go over there now and hit your notification button, because she's amazing and is doing such great work for Kelsey. Let's see if I can find it. If not, just go on your own. But let's see. No, go on your own and go click the notification button for that. Have a great day, guys.
If you need a place to breathe, some stress to just relieve, then come watch Emily see, where we keep it drama free. We want justice for John O'Keefe, Aiden and Kelsey, wave bye-bye to Morrissey. Let's clean up Norfolk County. Emily C, the one we need, reading sidebars with Corey, writing hang diaries, giving the people what they need. It's my pleasure to entertain, keeping you laughing makes my day. Positivity all the way. Why don't we tell Satan not today? And now it's time to say goodbye. But before we say goodnight, just keep one thing in mind. Please like, comment, subscribe.